So Sergey, thank you so much for making the time to talk with me. And I also want to say congratulations on Smartcon. I really think it's one of the best events that I've been to in the past few years. The organization was perfect, so congratulations on that and everyone who was involved in the organization. So tell me, how was your Smartcon experience?
Great, thank you for having me. I think it went very well. I heard from a lot of people. There's a lot of developers, a lot of people building things. There's less talk about price and the market and stuff, and there's much more talk about what can we build, how can we make the next generation of DeFi or insurance, which is exactly what we organized this conference for, so people can come together and build more advanced Web3 applications, make the verifiable web happen. So I think I've heard a lot of positive feedback. I think the speakers were good. We had a good panel about capital markets, and I think there's just a lot of great smart people kind of joining the conference and talking about the intersection of everything from DeFi to AI to a number of other interesting things.
Yeah, there was like a lot of different topics covered, and I think it was really interesting. So looking forward already to the next edition.
So am I.
For next year. So tell me, Sergey, so how do you think the Chainlink ecosystem will develop in the coming years?
So Chainlink, like many technology and computing platforms, it started with a very specific kind of killer app use case, which was market data. So if you look at many technology platforms, they often start with an initial use case. So for example, Amazon Web Services started with S3, which was the first use case of cloud, right? And people would put images and information into this cloud thing called S3. And at that point, there was a big debate, are we ever going to do any real amount of computation in the cloud? It's the same thing with the Salesforce world, where you basically had CRM as the first killer use case, but then it expanded to the App Exchange and a whole bunch of other things. And even you could say that with Microsoft Windows, Office was the first killer app, basically, and really spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So all technology platforms, they need a kind of starting point where they do something critically important, and then they expand from there to the degree that their platform can allow that. And so now Chainlink has reached a point where it's expanded far beyond market data to not only other types of data, but also various off-chain computation through things like functions and automation, and now also cross-chain. So the way Chainlink has developed so far is starting with data, expanding to other market data, expanding to other types of data, now expanding to off-chain computation that allows more advanced smart contracts, more advanced verifiable applications, and now also moving on to cross-chain connectivity. So it's one place where developers can get the data, the compute, and the connectivity to value that they require to build advanced applications, which means it's kind of a place where developers can stay as they even move between different chains. And with the cross-chain system with CCIP, developers are actually able to coordinate multiple chains into their application from the Chainlink network.
Yeah, and you just mentioned CCIP. That's something that the community is very excited about. You noticed that as well yesterday in your keynote. So the people are really excited about that. So can you tell me, like, how did the idea of CCIP emerge, and when did this happen?
So we've been building CCIP for many years. Really, I would say from the beginning, Chainlink networks were seen as a way to go beyond data. So I would say that cross-chain was one of the things that from the beginning, Oracle networks were something that we knew they would be applied to cross-chain. We just didn't know in what order or what would be the first killer app of Oracle networks. And it turned out to be market data. Then it went on to be proof of reserves, then computations like automation and functions, and now cross-chain. So I would say Chainlink isn't a data platform, and it's not a compute platform, and it's not a cross-chain platform. It's a decentralized Oracle network platform, right? And decentralized Oracle networks, they do all of those things. So I would say that the ability to do cross-chain is something that's been in the works from the beginning of Chainlink, because Oracle networks are the best, most secure way to do these cross-chain communications of both value and messages.
Yeah, so yeah, CCIP is like really an interesting topic, and I think actually it makes sense. It's like the next step that needed to happen, right? So let's talk a little bit about marketing, because I think like also the community is really interested in how you guys do your marketing, and I think it's also very refreshing how you do it, because it's like focused on partners, on developers, etc., and not really on anything else what other projects often focus on? Is this like a conscious decision to focus on building and just ignore the rest up to some degree?
I would say that our whole community is very focused on creating the next generation of smart contracts, whether that's the next generation of DeFi, the next generation of insurance, the next generation of gaming with Web3 and GameFi. I think that's just the basis on which we've been building Oracle networks together with the community. And I think that we just want to keep everyone focused on the immense value that can be created when you combine Oracle networks with blockchains, with existing systems, with existing bank backends and so on. I don't really know how other crypto projects or Web3 projects or verifiable computing systems, how these folks do their explanations of what they do. But yeah, from the beginning, I think we just wanted to highlight, hey, you can build all these things. Then we wanted to highlight, you can build these more advanced things. Now we're highlighting that basically we need to connect all of the different parts of the world into one global internet of contracts. And that's also very focused on people's ability to build more advanced applications, because it's really those advanced applications that will come to define our industry. Just like DeFi now, like before DeFi, the blockchain industry was not about anything other than tokenization. After DeFi, it was about tokenization and financial products, right? So if you think about the internet went through a similar set of steps where at some point it was about just plain text messages. Then it was about email. Then it was about some limited form of e-commerce. So the internet is continually defined by the applications that run on it and what they do and the value they provide. So the only real way that we're going to define the verifiable web and Web3 is if advanced applications come into existence, like the Uber or Netflix equivalent of the Web3 world, and then those will redefine what the verifiable web and Web3 is. And this is just what I think I and many of the people in our community and many of the people building Chainlink are excited about. So this is what we're doing. We're trying to build and create the infrastructure for those advanced applications that we do believe will come to define what our industry is about. And we want to build the infrastructure to make that happen faster.
Yeah, so basically you're focusing all the efforts on getting these applications actually to use Chainlink rather than focusing on anything else, because like I mentioned, some other crypto projects, they focus on totally the wrong things, in my opinion. And it's really refreshing to see from the very beginning Chainlink focusing on building, attracting these applications, and everyone actually who can benefit from using Chainlink, and just make it like a very big next thing actually. So yeah, it makes sense. So we talked about community already for a while, and I want to ask you, like, up to which degree are you aware of what's happening in the community? Do you actually pay attention to it a lot?
I think the community is a big place with various people. We have the academic community, we have the security research community, we have the technical community, and we have the non-technical community. I work a good amount with the academic part of the community. I work a certain amount with the technical community and the security research community. And then I am very interested to see the views of consumers and the non-technical part of the community to understand what they want from applications and how they view the verifiable web evolving and the value it can provide to them and how it can make a better version of society and things like that. So my goal is to always have productive, collaborative, value-added conversations with people that I can learn things from and that I can explain valuable things from, that they can use to provide useful inputs into our work. So I am aware that sometimes the non-technical community is not fully satisfied with how everything is going or the speed at which it's moving forward. I mean, my view on that is that building secure, reliable systems takes time, and that security and reliability is eventually valued very highly when the insecure, unreliable systems fail. And this is actually the story of most large exchanges, is that you had all these exchanges, a bunch of them started to fail, and all the value kind of has like a flight to safety to the secure system, right? To the system that can secure that value using proper private key security. And so I think it's the same story for all infrastructure, for all decentralized verifiable infrastructure. So our goal is not to accelerate things in a way where something could be insecure or there could be a reliability issue, because right now we're the most reliable system of our type, power the most value of any system of the type of computation and verifiable computation that the Chainlink network does. And so I have noticed sometimes people are very happy because there's progress, and that happiness comes all at once, and sometimes they are unhappy because the progress doesn't come fast enough. But the reality is, to build truly reliable, secure systems, you have to do it in a way that takes into account security audits, various changes, improvements, and you have to build it in a way that can adapt to various risks. And that takes a certain amount of time. But I think it is worth it, because once again, you can have people that slap together a single server and say that's a great bridge, or they can make 2 servers they control and call that a bridge, or you can make 15 nodes in a single network and call that a bridge. But that really won't be the bridge that powers trillions of dollars in value, just like that isn't the type of system that will power DeFi with all the data that it needs, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really just the same situation again and again. You have a security problem, it's unsolved, maybe there's some early solutions that still don't solve the problem, and then you have a real secure solution that can solve the problem at scale and at speeds that allow people to transact in a reliable, verifiable way. So we're doing that second one. I think the academic community really values that approach, because it's the approach they have to researching and doing principled systems design. I think the technical and the security community understands that approach, and they're very kind of understanding of why it takes time to secure and build things in these ways. I think the non-technical community understands the value to society and the value of the different world we're trying to build, but I think there's a kind of impatience on why is it taking so long. I understand that, because I'm actually not a very patient person myself, but I can't really do anything about it, because our goal is not to accelerate the release of these things. Our goal is to accelerate the release as much as possible within the scope of certain security and reliability requirements. So I am aware of the community. I do take into account their views, but I think it's just very important that people understand that what we're doing is building a secure, reliable system that can hopefully handle trillions of dollars in transaction value, as it already has, right? And handle even more than trillions, tens of trillions. And so this is, this is kind of the journey that we're on, and this is the journey that people need to understand that we're on, and be part of it in a productive way. So that's kind of my view on all 4 of those communities. But I'm very grateful to all of those communities and the non-technical community for supporting us through many difficult situations, supporting us through misunderstandings with other groups, supporting us by explaining to key users the security and the value of the system. And so I'm immensely grateful for that. Your question is if I'm aware. I am aware. I notice sometimes people are saying we're not doing something fast enough, and I just want to make it clear that we're trying to do it as fast as we can while trying to still fulfill the responsibilities that the system is taking on, together with the rest of the technical community and the research community, and that's not an easy process, and it needs to be done in the right way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But something else that I noticed, because personally I make content and reviews, etc. I talk about different crypto projects, and what I see is that people who are not involved in Chainlink, so non-community members, they have a very hard time to understand Chainlink. But I think it's also a good thing, because it shows that it's a more technical thing, first of all. It also shows that of course it is complicated to even explain, so it also means it's complicated to build. And that was what you're saying as well right now, that it takes time, especially to build something like this.
Yeah. They'll understand it when we power everything.
Yeah.
They'll definitely understand it then.
Yeah.
And just before that, I think there is a nuance where blockchains and Oracle networks are very different. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing that we've kind of tried to make clear but haven't made fully clear. So, sorry to interrupt you, but I think as it gets more adopted, everyone will understand what it is. And then the other thing is, blockchains are not Oracle networks. Oracle networks don't have a chain. And I think it's just a very different way of generating consensus that's also very necessary.
Yeah, it's middleware, of course, and that's also why I think like people are more attracted, I think, to, for example, layer 1s, layer 2s, whatever, because it's easy to understand, and Chainlink is like middleware. It's like connecting everything, handling the data, etc. And I think that is also why people...
So just to clarify, Chainlink was a data-centric Oracle network that acted as middleware between data. But what we've just discussed is that it's not middleware because now it can do its own computation and it can do these cross-chain connections. You're right in that, in a certain sense, it is middleware that it connects many systems together, but it can actually do computations on the data as well. So it's now more of a kind of decentralized computing platform. This is maybe the thing we need to make clearer, that we just also need to do a better job at ourselves.
But of course, like you explaining this right now to my audience, now they understand Chainlink a lot better. So thank you so much, Sergey, for taking the time to talk with me, and to the audience. And again, congratulations on Smartcon. Looking forward to the next edition. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.